Part 3. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 21. Just when Duanlei closed his eyes and waited to die, whoosh, a feather arrow flew past, piercing the gun in Fang Jiao's hand. The powerful force flew the pistol directly, and there was a grab sound. On the roof of the off-road vehicle driven by Lu Feng. On the shed. Fang Jiao was also led to stagger forward and rushed a few steps towards Duanlei. Unexpectedly, Duanlei did not take this opportunity to restrain Fang Jiao. Instead, he took a few steps to the side and got out of the way. He looked at Fang Jiao, then looked at Lu Feng and smiled. It seems that the bigger surprise I mentioned has already happened. Lu Feng turned around and saw that an armored vehicle was speeding towards him. There was a man standing on the roof of the vehicle, the bow in his hand was fully drawn, facing this way. Lu Feng rolled his eyes, and just when he was about to make a move, Duanlei quickly stretched out his hand. If you don't want to get hurt, it's best to stay where you are and don't move. Injured, Lu Feng stopped and looked at Duanlei. That's right. You must have forgotten the madman's archery skills, right? Duanlei shrugged. I don't think his arrows can hurt me, Lu Feng said proudly. Maybe it was before, but now. Duanlei said with a smile, while glancing at Fang Jiao's hand and the pistol nailed to the roof of the car. Lu Feng followed his eyes and his expression suddenly changed. Fang Jiao was squatting on the ground, holding her right wrist and groaning in pain. She was holding her hand tightly as she was preparing to shoot. The moment she took off her hand and flew out, her right hand was cracked and her wrist was dislocated. Lu Feng looked at the arrow nailed to the roof of the car again. The arrow had penetrated the barrel, and more than half of the arrow had already sunk into the body of the Land Rover. Duanlei pursed his lips and nodded. It seems that the madman was not sleeping during the past few days when he was missing. Obviously Duanlei didn't know that Wang Feng slept for 12 days during the nearly half a month since his disappearance. While they were talking, the hurricane had already arrived in front of them. Wang Feng put away his longbow and carried it on his back. Then he jumped out of the car and came to Duanlei. He looked at Lu Feng and said, "Was it in time?" It was Duanlei who asked. "It's not like filming a TV series. Can you not wait until the last second next time to take action?" Duanlei complained. "Anyone who is timid can easily be scared to death by you." "Next time? Do you still hope there will be a next time?" Wang Feng laughed. Duanlei finally realized that he had said the wrong thing. "Forget it. Now that you're back here, I'll leave it to you." After saying that, Duanlei easily passed between Wang Feng and Lu Feng, and came to Taizu and Yunfei, who had already gotten off the car and were standing next to the car. "What good things did you bring back? Bring it here, let me see." "Hey. Brother Lei." "Nothing, we just went out to kill some zombies," Taizu said with a silly smile. Nothing." Unwilling to give up, Duanlei opened the car door and looked inside. "There really isn't anything. It seems necessary to provide you with training so that you know what it takes to be a qualified expedition team member." After saying that, Duanlei closed the car door, leaned against the car with his arms folded, and watched the excitement. At this time, Wang Feng was talking to Lu Feng. "Captain Lu, you go to the territory of your former team members to grab things, and you are also preparing to kill your former teammates. Doesn't this seem like your style? I remember that you have a strong sense of justice and would not do such shameless things." "Right," Wang Feng's eyes flashed with murderous intent. If he hadn't come back early, or if he hadn't had the power of clairvoyance and realized something was wrong when he was far away, Duanlei would be a corpse now. "Did you know that you made a mistake?" Lu Feng suddenly laughed. "It seems that what I just said to Duanlei has to be said to you again." Wang Feng was stunned and turned to look at Duanlei. "Idiot! Didn't anyone know what he did soon after he killed us all?" Duanlei shouted with hatred. "Oh. Then what was my mistake?" Wang Feng suddenly realized, and then he asked Lu Feng for advice again like a good and humble student. Even if you become a third-level enhancer, you are mainly long-range after all. Do you think you can still pose a threat to me when you are so close to me? Lu Feng sneered. For the sake of the past, I won't make it difficult for you. I'm going to drive away the tanker truck and this armored vehicle. I'll leave one of the two trucks for you, but I want half of the goods on the truck. How about that? This can be regarded as leaving a way for you to survive. Wang Feng's eyes widened. He did not expect that such words would come out of Lu Feng's mouth, and he said them so confidently, as if these things were originally theirs and were now given to him. Ha ha. No matter what. We have fought together, so I will not kill you all. Even if you want to come back, I can consider it. To be honest, you still have too little combat experience. Seeing Wang Feng's expression, Lu Feng thought Wang Feng was surprised by the half-truck of supplies he left behind, so he said with a kind smile. Do you think I'm not your opponent? Wang Feng confirmed carefully. If you keep the distance, I may not be your opponent, but at this distance. Lu Feng looked at Wang Feng with pity and shook his head. What did you tell him? Wang Feng suddenly turned around and asked Duan Lei. I didn't say anything. I just told him that you haven't slept for more than 10 days since you were missing. Duan Lei looked aggrieved. I slept. And I slept for 12 days. Wang Feng was stunned, and then told the truth. Okay. I made a mistake, just tell him yourself, Duan Lei said helplessly. Do you think I am already a third-level enhancer now? Wang Feng turned to look at Lu Feng and said. What? Isn't it? A trace of doubt flashed in Lu Feng's eyes. Wang Feng and Duan Lei's relaxed expressions didn't look like they were pretending. Does that mean they still have a trump card? Thinking of this, Lu Feng secretly made a gesture. The movement was very small and difficult for ordinary people to notice. But he forgot one thing. The guy in front of him and the guy leaning against the car door were both members of their team before, so this they all understood the meaning of the gesture, which was, prepare to attack, leaving no one behind. Wang Feng shook his head gently and pretended not to see it. Instead, he said to Lu Feng sincerely, no, I really am not. I don't care if you do. Go to hell. Lu Feng didn't wait for Wang Feng to finish his words, jumped up, drew out his dagger and stabbed Wang Feng in the face. At the same time, Lu Feng those who brought them also took off the guns from their backs and pointed their guns at Duan Lei and the others. But what surprised them was that Duan Lei and the two guys next to him still looked like they were watching the fun, as if they were not the ones pointing the gun at them, and the next moment, they knew the reason. The moment Lu Feng jumped up, Wang Feng also moved. He reached behind Lu Feng in a flash, then jumped up and kicked Lu Feng, knocking him to the ground, but he took advantage of this kick. The force turned back. Lu Feng's men had just raised their guns, but before they had time to pull the trigger, they felt a gust of wind pass by in front of them, and then, their guns disappeared inexplicably. Wang Feng's figure finally appeared in front of the armored vehicle, and dropped the pile of guns in his hands to the ground with a crash. Duan Lei, Taizu, and Yunfei all looked at him dumbfounded, and then Duan Lei swallowed, damn. Why are you so fast? Superpower. Gale, Wang Feng said softly, and then walked towards Lu Feng, who was getting up from the ground with a shocked look on his face. Captain Lu, I remember you said before, patience. It's the key to a victory. Why are you so impatient? You started attacking before I even finished my words. You, Evolver, Lu Feng pointed at Wang Feng and said in horror. Wang Feng nodded. What are you going to do with us? Lu Feng asked softly after sighing. Let's go. Wang Feng turned back and walked towards the armored vehicle. For the sake of the survivors in the camp, I won't kill you. When Lu Feng heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. He quickly got up and led his men towards their car, as if he was afraid that Wang Feng would change his mind. Wait, Wang Feng's voice came. Lu Feng and his group immediately stopped there, then Lu Feng slowly turned around and looked at Wang Feng with a wry smile. Wang Feng looked at the supplies that had been moved outside and said coldly, "You can move them back as you moved them out." Upon hearing Wang Feng's words, several of Lu Feng's men rushed over and moved all the supplies back. Xiao Feng, Fang Jiao slowly walked up to Wang Feng holding her right hand, and said pitifully, I thought you were dead. That's why, I'm sorry." Wang Feng nodded, then pulled her right hand up, grabbed the wrist with one hand, and the palm with the other hand, and reset her dislocated wrist with one force. "I know. I don't blame you." Duan lay on the side rolled his eyes. "Really? Thank you." Xiao Feng, Fang Jiao looked at Wang Feng with surprise, and then she threw herself into Wang Feng's arms. Wang Feng dodged slightly and hid aside. "Just because I said I don't blame you doesn't mean I can still accept you. There are certain paths. Once you've walked through them, you can't look back. The same goes for people." Fang Jiao jumped away. She looked up at Wang Feng and found that the look in Wang Feng's eyes when he looked at her lacked the doting and love in the past. It was cold and terrifying. At this moment, she knew that she had truly lost him. "Take these things away too." Seeing that several people had finished moving the supplies, Wang Feng pointed at the firearms he had just thrown on the ground and said. The bald man and another middle-aged man came over tremblingly at Lu Feng's signal. "Are you disappointed that I didn't get shot?" Duan Lei suddenly asked the bald man with a smile. "No. No. Brother Lei, no. Lord Lei. Your Excellency is great. Don't." The bald man quickly knelt on the ground and bowed down. "Okay. Get your stuff and get out of here," Duan Lei quickly interrupted him, otherwise who knows what other disgusting words he would say. "Hey. Hey. Get out of here. Get out of here." The bald man quickly picked up the firearm on the ground in his arms and ran back in a mess. "We used to be on the same team as this guy," Duan Lei asked depressedly, looking at the bald man's back. Wang Feng looked up, as if recalling, and then nodded affirmatively, "Yes. Doomsday Special Forces." Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 22. Just when Lu Feng and his group got into the car and were about to leave, Wang Feng shouted again, "Captain Lu." This time even Duan Lei couldn't help laughing. "Is there anything you can't say in one go? Is this a rhythm that scares them to death?" Lu Feng stretched his head out of the car and waited quietly for Wang Feng's next words. "You just said you would leave us a way to survive for the sake of the past. Then I will also show you a way to survive. Remember where this car was at that time? I suggest you go there. There are no zombies there anymore, but there are still supplies." Les Wang Feng pointed to the armored vehicle behind him and said. "In addition, you'd better climb to the highest point there and use a telescope to observe Jianguan Town. There are now tens of thousands of zombies gathering there. I guess our area will soon be unrest. Make preparations in advance. After all, there are so many survivors out there and you need to be responsible for their lives." Lu Feng listened quietly. After Wang Feng finished speaking, he nodded to Wang Feng and drove away. "This should be considered a complete breakaway from the Taikang camp, right?" Duan Lei muttered as he looked at the off-road vehicle going away. "Yes. It doesn't matter forever," Wang Feng said softly. Returning to the square table on the first floor, the four of them sat together again. Wang Feng just went upstairs to see Lu Qiang. After Tiankai's test, he said that Lu Qiang would not wake up for at least a week. Wang Feng was very happy when he heard the news, because Tiankai said that the longer the time, the stronger the power of evolution. Wang Feng took 12 days, and if Lu Qiang wakes up in another 7 days, it will be close to 10 days. It will take another week for the big man to wake up, so we can say that we are quite short of manpower for the next week. Basically, I am the only one who can go out. Wang Feng aroused dissatisfaction with Taizu and Yunfei. "Captain, I have passed the test. You can go out, don't worry. I will never hold you back, otherwise you will find another 10 or 11 zombies and come back to kill me. Captain Feng. Hee hee. I've never humiliated you before. We don't lead anyone who looks down on others, so why are you the only one who can go out? I don't have a problem either. Actually, staying at home is the most dangerous thing. Even Duan Lei joined in the fun. You too. Wang Feng glanced at Taizu and Yunfei, took out 2 small bottles and placed them on the table. These are 2 bottles of strengthening liquid. The difference from those strengthening liquids is that it is 100% successful. Originally, I wanted you to stay at home and use the strengthening liquid. This strengthening process will not take long, an hour at most, but you need to learn the fighting methods of the strengthener from Duan Lei and get used to it. However, since you have strong requirements, get out. Wang Feng gestured to take back the strengthening fluid. Don't go out. Don't go out. If you beat me to death, I won't go out. Taizu was familiar with Wang Feng and knew that Wang Feng was teasing him, so he grabbed a bottle of evolutionary fluid and held it tightly in his arms. Yunfei didn't dare to do what Taizu did, so he could only look at Wang Feng pitifully. Captain. I just want to be a useful person in the team. Wang Feng raised his chin towards the remaining bottle of enhancement fluid on the table, then go back to your room and drink it. Only by increasing your strength can you become a useful person in the team. Yunfei stretched out his trembling hand and slowly picked up the strengthening liquid, and then held it in his hand. At this time, Yunfei felt that he was simply dreaming. In one day, he went from being scared to death when seeing zombies. The coward has turned into a man who dares to face zombies, and now, he is about to become the powerful person that he longed for before. Yunfei took a deep breath and glanced at Wang Feng gratefully. It was this person of similar age to him who made him undergo such earth-shaking changes. Yes. Captain. Then. Yunfei got up and went upstairs. He did not say thank you to Wang Feng, because he knew that what this man had given him was far beyond what he could repay with words. Are you still here giggling? If you don't go, will I take it back? Wang Feng said angrily as he looked at Taizu, who was holding the strengthening liquid and giggling. Ah. I'm going right now, hee hee. I'm going right now. Upon hearing that Taizu was about to take it back, he ran upstairs without looking back. Phew. Now it's better. 1 sleeping beauty has become 3. I'm almost a professional nanny. Duan Lei stretched and said. Don't worry. You have 1 too. Wang Feng looked at Duan Lei and smiled. Me too? What do I have too? Isn't it troublesome? Duan Lei looked at Wang Feng warily. Huh? How do you know? Wang Feng was greatly surprised. Nonsense. You told me to let those 2 boys train with me. If I had that thing, I would go to bed. Who will train them? Duan Lei said matter-of-factly. Wang Feng sighed that this man with a high IQ was just different. How could complex things become so simple as soon as he said them? Okay. Let's get down to business. Wang Feng's face finally turned serious. The matter is really serious. After hearing Wang Feng's words, Duan Lei frowned. Things may not be as simple as you think. Ah. What I think is simple. Wang Feng was stunned. We only knew about enhanced zombies before, and now you have discovered mutant zombies. How long will it take for the apocalypse to begin now? Half a year. Zombies with intelligence can appear in half a year, but what about 1 year? What about 5 years? What about 10 years? After the end of the world, we humans have also begun to become more and more powerful. First there are enhancers, and then there are evolvers. In the future, there may be even more powerful humans. The power of human beings, let's call this upgrade. Human upgrades rely on killing zombies to obtain the strengthening fluid in their brains, that is, killing zombies. So what about zombies upgrading? I guess it's not by eating humans, but by a method we don't know. But although we don't know this method, it is definitely related to the number of zombies. Let's just talk about this Wu village. We visited it before, and there were probably more than 300 zombies. But when you came back later, it was already nearly 4 months apart, and there were still no enhanced zombies here. That is to say, this number is not enough to produce enhanced zombies, so what is this number? 500? 1000? No matter what the number is, we are facing a big problem now, that mutant zombie. It has gathered more than 50,000 zombies around it now. According to you, it has reached its limit, so why is it still there? If it is an intelligent creature, it should know that no matter how long it stays, the number of zombies will not increase. So it should be waiting now, Duan Lei finally said with certainty. Waiting, Wang Feng's eyes were a little confused, but immediately, a terrifying thought appeared in his mind: he is waiting for the evolution of those zombies. That's right, Duan Lei knocked on the table. So what we have to face in the future may not only be as simple as 50,000 zombies, but also a considerable number of enhanced zombies or other more ferocious zombies. Then what should we do? Wang Feng looked at Duan Lei. First, you set off soon, return to the service area, and monitor the zombies there. Pay special attention to the number of strengthened zombies there. I think it will take a day or two to confirm whether my guess is correct. If the number of enhanced zombies increases. Duan Lei did not finish his words, but Wang Feng already understood what he meant. Second, after it is determined that the number of enhanced zombies has increased, you can leave. After that, your task is to go to all the survival camps we know and give them a warning to let them know about the upcoming crisis. Do it early. Be prepared, preferably be ready to evacuate at any time. If they don't believe you, just show your identity as an evolved person. I think this identity should still work. If you still don't believe it, you can even take them there to have a look, but remember, the supplies there are, don't let them move the vehicles. I will be useful in the future. Third, I hope we have so much time. If the zombies haven't attacked after Luqiang wakes up, then I plan to take them to various camps and use the resources and vehicles of the service station to exchange with them the small things they think are useless. Children and women. Wait. A child? A woman? Wang Feng quickly asked Duan Lei to stop. I can understand the previous one. What's going on with this, woman and child? Aren't you going to set up a camp? You're building a shitty camp with just the 5 of us? And if we don't accept them in advance, how many of them do you think will be left in the upcoming large-scale evacuation? And we only accept volunteers. We don't care about the women and children who are dependent on us. Then, why don't you want a man? Wang Feng asked cautiously. There is no good thing in a man. Duan Lei's words made Wang Feng's hair stand on end. He looked at Duan Lei in surprise, as if he was a harried woman, and he didn't know how to proceed. Ha 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 ha, seeing Wang Feng's expression, Duan Lei laughed loudly. What the hell are you thinking? I just think the atmosphere is too dull now, so I want to change it up. How about it? It will be more relaxed, right? I feel humming heavier, Wang Feng said through gritted teeth. Ha 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 ha, Duan Lei laughed for a while before continuing. Women and children are the continuation of the future of mankind. We must take in a large number of them. As for men, it's not that we don't want to take them in, it's that we can't. Men have always been the main combat force in every camp, whether they are ordinary people or enhanced ones, so basically no camp will be willing to replace them. If we do that, those camps may still suspect that we have ulterior motives. As for replacing the women and children they originally thought were burdensome, it doesn't matter. It can also reduce their burden. I think this is what those camps are happy to accept. Oh. Forget it. You go and verify my guess first, and come back immediately after verifying it. Then the 2 boys will stop training and come with us to do these things and adapt to the battle. Okay, Wang Feng did as he said and stood up immediately. "I'm leaving now." After saying that, he turned around and left. Looking at Wang Feng's back, Duan Lei said softly, "I really hope my guess is wrong." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 23. Off-road vehicles were driving one after another on the way to the service area of Jianguan Town. Lu Feng sat in the back seat of the off-road vehicle with a sullen face. Fang Jiaojiao sat next to him, not knowing what she was thinking. Lu Feng had mixed feelings at this time. He didn't expect that Wang Feng, a little guy who he didn't take seriously half a month ago, would suddenly become a powerful evolver. He had no power to resist him. Thinking of losing face in front of his men, he couldn't help but get even more angry. What he couldn't accept the most was that Fang Jiaoqiao, a fickle woman, actually threw herself into Wang Feng's arms in front of him, and Wang Feng didn't accept it. This made him feel that Fang Jiaoqiao, who he thought was the best in the world before coming, was actually not that good. She was just a woman that others didn't want. But he couldn't get angry now, because in order to successfully get Fang Jiaoqiao, he didn't hesitate to use the whole team to take risks, raided a residential area with more than 100 zombies wandering, and successfully made Fang Jiaoqiao an enhancer. Now, due to the departure of Duan Lei and Wang Feng, the high-end combat power of his team has been greatly reduced. He is the only third-level enhancer and 3 first-level enhancers, including Fang Jiaoqiao. So he has no place to vent his anger, and he is as depressed as he can be. However, when he arrived at the service area, he was finally in a better mood when he saw that there was no zombie in the service area. After a command, they began to search the service area, but then Lu Feng thought that he was actually picking up what Wang Feng left. At this time, Wang Feng was also driving here, so he happened to meet Lu Feng and his group. However, Wang Feng ignored them, but ran directly to the mall in the service area, pulled a quilt, and climbed up the highest billboard with the quilt. After going up, Wang Feng first spread the quilt on the billboard, then put the backpack with the kitten aside, and then lay on the quilt. He is now an evolver, basically immune to cold and heat, but because he plans to observe here for at least 1 or 2 days, he should try to make himself more comfortable. After lying down and adjusting his posture, Wang Feng took out a military high-power telescope from the apocalypse space. Although he has the ability of the sky eye, the long time of the sky eye will make his eyes tired, so it is more reliable to use a telescope for such long-term surveillance. Raising the telescope and adjusting the focal length, Wang Feng began his observation, but just after taking a look, Wang Feng felt his heart sink, and immediately put down the telescope and activated the sky eye to look over. The zombies that were originally about 50,000 have now reached about 80,000, but this is not the reason why Wang Feng was shocked. What made Wang Feng's heart sink was that the mutant zombies in the middle of the zombie group in Jianguan Town suddenly became 2. Wang Feng, who had secretly observed the mutant zombie many times, believed that he was absolutely not wrong. The 2 zombies standing opposite each other at this time were definitely mutant zombies. After repeated confirmation, Wang Feng cancelled the sky eye and prepared to go back to Duan Lei to discuss it immediately. Just as he was about to climb down, he suddenly felt something was wrong. The 2 zombies seemed to be confronting each other. Wang Feng immediately opened the sky eye again and looked towards Jianguan Town. This time he looked very carefully. What made Wang Feng slightly relieved was that the 2 mutant zombies were indeed confronting each other, and the zombies around them did not form a circle like before, but were divided into 2 distinct camps with the 2 mutant zombies in the middle as the boundary. There was a distance of about 5 meters between the 2 camps, and the 2 mutant zombies were confronting each other in front of the 2 armies like ancient generals. Wang Feng found that the 2 mutant zombies in the middle kept roaring, as if they were communicating something. Although the images of the two zombies were not much different, Wang Feng still recognized that the one on the right was the mutant zombie he had seen before. At this time, Wang Feng felt someone climbed up the billboard. He looked back and found it was Lu Feng. Wang Feng ignored him and continued to stare at the two mutant zombies, but he cancelled his supernatural eyes and used a telescope instead, because he didn't want Lu Feng to know his supernatural power. Lu Feng came up and saw Wang Feng was looking at the telescope seriously, but ignored him. So he didn't make a boring conversation and took out the telescope to look in the direction of Wang Feng. Wang Feng looked back and saw Lu Feng standing there looking at Jianguantown with the telescope. He frowned and shouted in a low voice, "Lie down and look." Lu Feng was puzzled, but thinking that Wang Feng could easily kill him now, he had to learn from Wang Feng and lie on the billboard. When he saw the situation in Jianguantown clearly, he was shocked. The dark mass of nearly 100,000 zombies made him feel chilly. He understood why Wang Feng suggested that he come here to take a look. After they arrived at the service station, they only focused on collecting supplies, and had long forgotten about Wang Feng asking him to go to the commanding heights to take a look at Jianguantown. Later, when they saw Wang Feng climb up the billboard without doing anything after arriving here, they believed that something important really happened in Jianguantown. Lu Feng thought about it again and again, and decided to climb up to take a look. Since Wang Feng did not take action when he saw him, it must be safe for him to go up. Now, he saw that there were so many zombies gathered in Jianguantown, and these zombies were completely different from those he had seen before. If described in human language, it would be equivalent to the difference between ordinary people and the army. These huge numbers of zombies did not wander aimlessly like the zombies he had seen before, but stood there quietly, and the lines of troops were divided into two camps, and between the two camps, what the hell was that? Lu Feng looked at the two mutant zombies in the middle and asked subconsciously, what are the two in the middle? I call them mutant zombies. We haven't seen them before. They are new species. They have a certain amount of wisdom, and they can also command zombies. Wang Feng did not hide anything. Hiss, Lu Feng took a breath of cold air. He was also a smart man. He instantly understood the horror of this kind of zombie. Now he finally understood why Wang Feng still let him go after he exposed his intention to kill him. In the face of the crisis of the entire human race, personal grudges are really nothing. About 10 minutes later, the negotiations may have broken down. The two mutant zombies began to look a little irritable and restless, and the zombie group also began to stir. The two people on the billboard also began to watch attentively. The first to attack was Wang Feng's old friend. It suddenly jumped up and grabbed the new zombie's head with a claw. At the moment of contact with the new zombie, its 5 fingers popped out half a foot long, sharp nails flashing with cold light. The new zombie did not show weakness. It roared to the sky, and its arms suddenly swelled up. It blocked the claw of the old mutant zombie. The sharp nails left only 5 faint marks on the new zombie's arm, and it didn't even scratch the skin. The new zombie punched the old mutant zombie in the face with a backhand. It seems that the zombies mutated at the same time, their evolutionary direction and fighting methods are also different. The old mutant zombies were obviously more inclined to attack, while the new zombies were more suitable for defense. One had sharp claws, and the other had extremely hard arms. The two mutant zombies fought back and forth and had a lot of fun. When the two mutant zombies were fighting, the zombie groups on both sides did not fight as Wang Feng hoped, except that they seemed a little confused. They just watched the battle from the side. It seems that when the mutant zombies fight, their control over the zombies will weaken at the same time, because Wang Feng has seen that some zombies in the back have returned to their previous laxity and wandered around. After fighting for about half an hour, the two zombies finally decided the winner. While the new zombie was blocking his right claw, the old mutant zombie broke through the new zombie's defense with his left claw and pierced the new zombie's head from bottom to top. It seems that the new zombie's body only has the pair of arms that have become very thick. After winning, the old mutant zombie retracted its half-foot-long nails, and then used its claws to twist off the head of the new zombie, turned its head to look in the direction of Wang Feng and the others, and then held the head to its mouth and bit it. The turbulent zombie group gradually settled down. Wang Feng noticed that only about 60,000 zombies in the zombie group of more than 80,000 had returned to peace. The original opposing camps also disappeared and merged together again. They were not around the mutant zombies. The remaining more than 20,000 zombies obviously lost control and began to wander around. Did it find us? Lu Feng put down the telescope with a look of horror. He now understood why Wang Feng asked him to lie down. It shouldn't be. It may just sense something wrong. Otherwise, it wouldn't take much time to get here at its speed, Wang Feng replied without raising his head. What were those two zombies doing just now? Lu Feng was still in shock. Internal fighting. Now that the internal fighting is over, the next target should be us. Wang Feng was still watching with the telescope, and answered Lu Feng calmly. What are you looking at? Lu Feng was a little puzzled. Can you see those enhanced zombies? Wang Feng said. According to Lazy Eye, when they reach a certain number, this guy will attack us. According to my current speculation, the number should be around 60. Wang Feng's number is calculated based on the fact that one enhanced zombie can appear for every 1,000 ordinary zombies. Just now, he noticed that the total number of enhanced zombies has increased from the dozen he saw at the beginning to 34, while the number of ordinary zombies is now around 30,000. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 24. How much time do we have? Lu Feng's face turned pale. I don't know. The first time I saw these zombies was about 5 days ago. At that time, there were more than 10 enhanced zombies. Now their number has doubled. I think we have at most half a month, or at least a week, maybe tomorrow. Wang Feng put down the telescope and looked back at Lu Feng and said, I think you should go back and prepare to evacuate here. That zombie, can you kill it? Lu Feng was about to go down, and suddenly turned around and asked. If that defensive zombie wins, I may still have a chance, but this one. Wang Feng shook his head. My evolved ability is speed. You saw the speed of that zombie just now, right? I don't have an advantage in this regard, and there are so many enhanced zombies protecting it. What if we find all the enhancers in all the nearby survival camps to help you block those enhanced zombies? Lu Feng still asked unwillingly. Impossible. Even if all the enhancers are here, do you think we can be of one mind? Let alone others, there is no trust between the two of us, right? What can a group of enhancers who are in harmony but not in harmony and act independently do? Wang Feng directly pointed out the key point. Lu Feng opened his mouth, but did not say anything. In the end, he just shook his head and turned to climb down. Wang Feng sighed in his heart. Just as he was about to turn around and look at the mutant zombie again, he was suddenly shrouded in a shadow. He looked up and saw a huge bird swooping down at a high speed, aiming at Lu Feng, who was climbing down. At this time, Lu Feng had also discovered his crisis, but he was in mid-air and had no way out. He was now dozens of meters above the ground. If he let go, even if he didn't die from the fall, he would at least be seriously injured. In this doomsday, being seriously injured is basically the same as death, and sometimes it is even worse than death. Damn! What a big bird! Wang Feng didn't have time to think about it. He praised it and reached out to take his backpack and put it on his back. Then, when the bird passed the billboard, he activated the wind and passed by the bird. At the same time, the apocalypse on his right hand slashed towards the bird's neck. The bird, which was suddenly attacked, responded quickly and drew an arc to the side. Wang Feng, who activated the wind, missed it. When he ran out of strength, his body fell down. Wang Feng smiled bitterly in his heart. He originally thought that he could succeed in one attack with the wind activated. Although he would fall down like this, he should be able to land smoothly with the big bird as a meat pad. He didn't expect that the speed of this meat pad was so fast that it could avoid his fatal blow. Damn! What a pitfall! Wang Feng looked at the ground approaching rapidly below. When he was thinking about what he would become in a while, he suddenly felt a tightness on his back, and then his body climbed up rapidly. Looking back, it was the big bird. Perhaps Wang Feng's sudden appearance disturbed its hunting, so it actually left Lu Feng alone and regarded him as prey. After a turn in the air, it flew over Wang Feng, grabbed the backpack on Wang Feng's back with one claw, lifted Wang Feng up, and then flew away. It all happened too fast. From Wang Feng's leap to him being caught by the big bird, it was almost completed within 2 seconds. Lu Feng, who was still in shock, had not reacted yet, and the big bird and Wang Feng had almost disappeared from his sight. Looking blankly at the direction where Wang Feng disappeared, Lu Feng felt mixed emotions for a while, and an indescribable feeling lingered in his heart. The cold wind in the air kept blowing on Wang Feng's body, making him almost unable to open his eyes. Fortunately, he was an evolver and his body had been strengthened, otherwise I'm afraid that this wind alone would blow away half of his life. Wang Feng pulled his arm out of the backpack, then held the bird's claws tightly and climbed up a little, then tied the backpack straps to his feet, and then Apocalypse appeared in his hand and chopped at the bird's claws. To Wang Feng's surprise, Apocalypse, which could easily cut metal, could not cause any damage to the bird's claws, leaving only a white mark on the bird's claws. It seems that the zombie that just lost has something to do with you, Wang Feng muttered softly, looking up at the bird's huge body. He wanted to climb up and attack the bird's abdomen, but the problem was that if he did that, he would have to take off his backpack, otherwise he would not be able to attack the bird's abdomen at all. Thinking of the little kitten in the bag, Wang Feng shook his teeth and climbed down again, then he wrapped his legs around the bird's claws, hung upside down there, and then cut the backpack open with Apocalypse. The kitten, which had just been cut open and looked a little bigger, stuck its head out and looked around with its round eyes, as if the wind at high altitude had no effect on it. When it saw Wang Feng, the kitten was stunned for a moment, as if it was unfamiliar with Wang Feng's upside-down face, but then it sniffed, tilted its head and thought for a while, and then pounced on Wang Feng's face with a cry of joy. Wang Feng quickly used his waist to straighten his body back, and then grabbed the kitten lying on his face in an upside-down position. The kitten cried reluctantly twice, and then stretched out its tongue to lick Wang Feng's face. Okay. Stop making trouble, let's get off the plane first. Wang Feng stuffed the kitten into his arms, then grabbed the big bird's leg and climbed up. The kitten reluctantly stretched out its head and looked at Wang Feng curiously. Since the kitten was rescued, Wang Feng had no scruples. He was going to perform an open surgery on the big bird first, but seeing the big bird's huge claws flashing with cold light, Wang Feng hesitated for a moment and did not do it, but continued to climb to the back of the big bird. Fortunately, the feathers of the big bird were quite strong and completely supported Wang Feng's weight. After about 10 minutes, Wang Feng finally climbed to the back of the big bird. After selecting a relatively thick feather, Wang Feng grabbed the feather with one hand and raised Tiankai with the other hand, and then suddenly stabbed it hard on the back of the big bird. A shrill scream came, and the big bird suddenly struggled violently. Wang Feng grabbed the root of the feather with one hand, and tried to use Tiankai to expand the wound on the big bird's back with the other hand. Because the big bird was flying, it couldn't turn back to peck its back, so it fell down quickly while tumbling. During the tumbling of the big bird, the wound on its back kept spraying a lot of blood, making Wang Feng's head and face full of blood, and even the little kitten with a small head exposed on Wang Feng's chest was splattered with blood. The little kitten stretched out its tongue to lick the blood on the edge of its mouth, and suddenly its eyes lit up, and it rushed towards the wound of the big bird. Caught off guard, Wang Feng could only watch the little kitten run out of his arms, and he couldn't let go and catch the little kitten back now. To Wang Feng's surprise, the kitten pounced on the wound on the bird's back and was not thrown out by the tumbling bird. Its two front paws tightly grasped the bird's wound, and the nails usually hidden in the pads were all exposed, deeply hooked into the flesh on both sides of the wound. Seeing this, Wang Feng dragged Tiankai even harder, cutting a deep and long bloody wound on the bird's back. Seeing this, the kitten became even more excited, and its limbs worked hard to turn the bird's wound to both sides, and its little head kept drilling in. In less than a minute, the kitten actually drilled into the bird's wound, and as the kitten disappeared, the bird's cry became more shrill, but soon, the bird seemed to lose its strength, stopped tumbling, folded its wings and fell down. Wang Feng looked down and couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Although the bird had been descending since it was injured, it was still more than 100 meters above the ground. If it landed directly, 10 Wang Fengs would not be enough to kill it. Wang Feng quickly adjusted his position with the bird to ensure that he stayed above the bird. As for the kitten, he didn't have time to dig it out from the bird's stomach. Bang! The bird's body fell heavily to the ground, and Wang Feng, who was on the body, was almost dislocated by the shock. He couldn't move for a while and lay on the bird's body with a big breath. Wang Feng tilted his head and looked to his right, sighing in his heart that he was unlucky. There was a forest on his right, and the tall trees blocked the sky. If the bird had fallen more than 20 meters to the right, he might not have been injured. Apocalypse. Can you heal me? Wang Feng thought to himself. Yes. It requires 3 energy points. Do you want to treat it? Apocalypse's answer was still emotionless. Treatment. Wang Feng knew that he didn't have many energy points. After giving the 2 guys the strengthening liquid, there were only 9 energy points in the apocalypse. But now he didn't even know where he was, so he had to quickly recover his combat power. A warm current flowed through Wang Feng's body, and he felt so comfortable that he almost wanted to take a nap if he wasn't in the wrong place. Less than a minute. The voice of the apocalypse came again, treatment completed. Consumed 3 energy points, and the current remaining energy points are 6 points. Wang Feng felt depressed. It seemed that after he got the apocalypse, the energy points in it not only did not increase, but became less and less. Originally, he thought that if he killed zombies, he would get energy points, and it would be easy to earn energy points. Who knew that a mutant zombie appeared and gathered all the zombies? Now it is even harder to find a lone zombie than to find a girlfriend. When he just got the apocalypse, there were still more than 10 energy points in it, but now it is actually getting less and less, not even 10 points. Wang Feng sighed, jumped off the big bird's body, and then prepared to get out the little kitten that had made a great contribution and almost killed its owner. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 25. Wang Feng was suddenly stunned when he was about to take action. Due to the angle of the fall, the bird's body happened to be facing down, and the original wound was pressed underneath. Wang Feng had no choice but to crawl to the bird's body again. Since the back is blocked, we have to perform a disembowelment and remove the heart. Wang Feng climbed up the bird carcass that looked like a hill, and muttered as he climbed, "Will all the mutated beasts we encounter in the future be this big? What if?" Wang Feng was stunned in the middle of his words. What did he just say? Mutated beast? Isn't this just an energy point? Pa, Wang Feng patted his head, "I'm just a pig." Then he called out to Tiankai in his heart, "Apocalypse. There should be something in this mutated beast that can be converted into an energy point, right?" "Yes. Its energy is concentrated on its head, just insert Tiankai into it." Tiankai's answer almost made Wang Feng angry. "Why didn't you remind me before?" Wang Feng asked. "You didn't ask me to remind you." Tiankai's answer was very honest. "Okay. Tiankai, if there is an opportunity to convert energy points in the future, you have to remind me." Wang Feng had no choice but to say. "Understood," Tiankai replied mechanically. Wang Feng has never been able to figure out what this apocalypse is. Logically speaking, it is a bit like the weapon spirit mentioned in some fantasy novels. However, this weapon spirit is not like the one written in those novels. A very spiritual creature. But let's say it is an artificial intelligence, and it can communicate with itself through spiritual dialogue. Wang Feng, who had been thinking about it for a long time and couldn't figure it out, simply didn't think about it and just thought it was an AI that can communicate spiritually. Wang Feng thought for a while and decided to get the energy point first. Since the little milk cat dared to run into the big bird's belly, it should be fine. It was a biological beast, so it couldn't die that easily. So Wang Feng jumped off the bird corpse again and turned to the head of the big bird. The damn bird's head was actually bigger than his own armored vehicle. Only then did Wang Feng remember that his armored vehicle was still in the service area. It must have been obtained by Lu Feng now. Shaked his head. Wang Feng shook off his thoughts. It was useless to think about it now. He had to find a way to get back as soon as possible. When he came to the bird's head, Wang Feng stood on the bird's beak, held the heaven in both hands and smashed the bird's skull with all his strength. To his surprise, the bird's skull was not as hard as its claws. Puff, there was a soft sound, and Tiankai didn't reach the handle. Huh? So easy, Wang Feng was surprised. After the lesson of bird claw, Wang Feng thought that he would have to put in some effort to successfully get the energy points. Apocalypse is now at level 1, with the sharpness of 1 centimeter at the tip being S, and the rest being level B. Came Apocalypse's voice. Wang Feng was stunned. Before he could ask, Tiankai's voice continued, after the energy is absorbed, you can synthesize evolutionary fluid or convert energy points. Please choose. Isn't it the same? Wang Feng was a little confused. According to what Tiankai told him before, the strengthening liquid in 10 zombies can be converted into 1 energy point, and consuming 1 energy point can synthesize a bottle of strengthening liquid. Isn't this mutually interoperable? It can be said to be the same, but because this creature is a 3rd level creature, 1 level higher than the black cat, directly using its energy to refine and synthesize the evolutionary fluid will be more effective, and the additional abilities will be more powerful, Tiankai explained. Road. If it is converted into energy points and then synthesized into evolutionary fluid, the evolved abilities will be completely random. Especially since this creature is of a very high level, the abilities attached to it during evolution will also be very good. Unfortunately, Apocalypse is only level 1. If it is level 3 can even extract 3rd level evolutionary fluid. Tiankai said it was a pity, but Wang Feng couldn't hear any regret in his tone, but fortunately he was used to it. Does it take long to convert energy into energy points? Wang Feng thought for a while and asked. A few seconds. Then don't switch now. We'll discuss the need later. Wang Feng came up with a way to get the best of both worlds. No, if the energy is not converted into energy points and refined and synthesized, it will gradually be lost. Apocalypse was greeted by a big ladle of cold water. Then refine an evolutionary fluid and convert other energy points. Wang Feng gritted his teeth. Understood. The evolutionary liquid is being refined, synthesized, combined. The remaining energy is being converted. Successfully synthesized a piece of evolutionary liquid, converted 3,284 energy points, existing energy point 3,293. Tiankai's voice is always emotionless. How many? Wang Feng jumped up. How many energy points do you think there are? The current energy points are 3,293. Such a bird has more than 3,200 energy points. It seems that it is not as difficult to deal with as the cat. Wang Feng was a little unbelievable. This is a 3rd level creature. It should be the strongest creature on the earth at this stage. It is difficult to be harmed by weapons on the earth, and its fatal part is its heart. It will not die unless its heart is completely destroyed. Tiankai explained. Heart, That's right. My cat. Wang Feng then thought of the little milk cat. He climbed up on the bird's body again and came to the weakest abdomen. He took out Tiankai and made a hole in it. This time Wang Feng felt it specifically. It was indeed easier to penetrate but difficult to cut through the skin. After opening the hole, Wang Feng was still thinking about how to find the cat, and the kitten came out of the bird's belly. The strange thing was that after it went around in the bird's belly, its fur was still a ball of snow white, without a trace of blood. Wang Feng recalled that although the black cat had torn countless pieces of meat from his body, it seemed that there was no blood on its body. The first thing it did after coming out was to stretch, then call out to Wang Feng, then jump on his shoulder, find a more comfortable position and lie there to doze off. Wang Feng smiled bitterly and took out another tactical backpack from the apocalypse space. Fortunately, he put away all the more than 10 sets of equipment that time, so there are still some left. He emptied the telescope and other items in the backpack, then grabbed the kitten and stuffed it into the bag. The kitten wooed twice to protest, but after the protest was ineffective, it also stayed in the bag and slept peacefully. Then Wang Feng looked at the huge bird corpse and began to worry. Meat was originally a scarce commodity in the end times. Now even they basically only had those bagged stewed food or some bacon to eat, and fresh meat was out of the question. And the meat of mutant beasts is even more needless to say. There was once a rumor that people became enhancers by eating mutant beast meat. Although it is not known whether it is true or not, it is true that eating mutant beast meat can make people much stronger. The bird in front of him is a real mountain of mutant beast meat. Unfortunately, he could not take it away at all. In desperation, Wang Feng had to use Apocalypse to cut off several large pieces of meat from the bird's legs, and then picked out some unimportant things in the Apocalypse space and threw them away, and put the bird meat in. In the end, even the little kitten was forced to make room for the bird meat and slept in a small pocket on the side of the tactical backpack, and the backpack was filled with bird meat by Wang Feng. In fact, Wang Feng took the bird meat purely to satisfy his craving. If he wanted to train a reinforced person now, it would be too easy. The energy points of Tiankai alone were enough for him to train a team of reinforced people, but there were not so many trustworthy people to train. And doing so would attract too much attention. Tiankai would be exposed sooner or later, so Wang Feng would definitely not do it. After packing up everything, Wang Feng identified the direction and walked towards the direction of Wu village. However, the big bird flew over, and its speed was faster than that of an airplane. Even if Wang Feng killed the big bird quickly, it was conservatively estimated that it flew hundreds of kilometers. However, Wang Feng was not too worried. He believed that Lu Feng would not dare to do anything to Duanlei before he confirmed his death, and he could find a vehicle on the road to travel, and he would definitely be able to return to Wu village and meet Duanlei within a week. After running at full speed for more than an hour, Wang Feng finally saw two people running in his direction. Wang Feng hurried to meet them. The two people saw that Wang Feng was wearing a military uniform, carrying a tactical backpack on his chest, a longbow on his back, and he was alone. Obviously, he was not a simple person. "What are you doing?" Wang Feng pretended to look behind them. In fact, Wang Feng had already opened his eyes to see from a distance. Although these two people were running desperately, there were no zombies or mutants chasing them behind them. These two people were very young, probably about 17 or 18 years old. They looked like twins. They looked very similar and had beautiful eyebrows and eyes. If they were before the end of the world, they might have been able to shoot idol dramas. The boy on the left spoke first. He asked anxiously, "Excuse me, are you an enhancer?" Wang Feng was stunned. Then he nodded. Seeing him nod, the boy who asked the question immediately knelt on his knees and cried loudly, "Please save our camp. Zombies have surrounded the place, there are more than 100 people there, most of them are children and women, they can't hold on for long." Another boy quickly reached out to pull him. Xiao Wu. Don't hurt people. Even if this big brother is an enhancer, he can't save our camp. Then the boy said to Wang Feng, Big brother, can you go to the Black Wolf camp over there and tell them that the Green Island camp has been attacked by zombies and ask them to come to rescue? In addition, the boy hesitated for a moment, and finally gritted his teeth and said, also please tell Black Wolf. Just say that our captain agreed to his request. Big brother, please trouble you, the Black Wolf camp is about 3 kilometers away at the first left intersection on this road. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 26. Wang Feng looked at them and nodded, saying, no problem. I can do this. Thank you so much. Then I'll trouble you about this. The young man bowed deeply to Wang Feng, and then pulled up the crying young man. Let's go. The two of them ran towards the way they came from. Hey! Why are you going? Wang Feng shouted behind them. Let's go back to the camp, the boy shouted without looking back. Aren't they surrounded by zombies? Wang Feng shouted again. Yes, the young man's voice came from afar. Looking at the backs of the two teenagers, Wang Feng twitched the corner of his mouth with a smile, and then he flashed and chased after the two teenagers. You're surrounded and you're going back. Isn't that asking for death? Wang Feng caught up with the two running teenagers in a few steps. Ah, the boy who was crying earlier was startled. He stumbled and almost fell. Fortunately, Wang Feng helped him. Another young man also stopped. Brother, go and report the news quickly. If you are late, it will be too late. How many strengtheners are there in the camp you mentioned? Wang Feng asked. 1 second level, 2 first level, the boy replied. Is that so? Will they definitely come to rescue you? Yes. Because our captain. The young man hesitated. Brother, just go and ask for help. Please hurry up. Are you two ordinary people? What role can you play by returning to your camp? Wang Feng asked leisurely. At least we can distract some zombies and buy time for the captain and the others, the young man said with determination. Yes, the crying boy also nodded, and his face with faint traces of tears was extremely determined. Haha. How about this? I'll go back with you. Look. I'm also a strengthener, similar to the reinforcements you invited, and we can save time by going now. Wang Feng smiled and said, in this doomsday world, he has not seen such a person for a long time, and today he saw two at once. This. The young man hesitated for a moment, then turned to the crying boy and said, Xiao Wu. I will take this big brother back to the camp, and you can go to the Black Wolf camp for help. Then he turned to Wang Feng and said, I'm sorry, brother. It's not that I don't believe you, but going to the Black Wolf camp to ask for help is a task given to us by our captain, and we must complete it. Wang Feng smiled and shook his head. It doesn't matter. I don't mind. Maybe I was just here to help delay time. Xiao Wen. It's better for you to go to the Black Wolf camp. You will say that I'm stupid, so I'll take this big brother back to the camp, said the crying boy Xiao Wu. No. It's up to you to go. I'm the elder brother. You have to listen to me, Xiao Wen said. Mom clearly said that even she can't tell who belongs to her brother. Both civil and military. Wen comes first, and I am the elder brother. The two of them actually started arguing over who should be the older brother. Okay, okay. I said you don't want to buy time, Wang Feng quickly interrupted the two of them, but there was a hint of warmth in his heart. He knew that the two brothers did not want to go to the Black Wolf camp because they knew it was a way to survive. The danger of returning to camp is undoubtedly much greater. Look. It's all you. Hurry up and find Black Wolf. After Xiaoan said this, he turned around and ran away, shouting, "Our camp is over here." Xiao Wu was about to speak and found that Xiao Wen had run away, so he had to stamp his feet fiercely and shouted to Xiaowen, "Be careful, you must survive." "Brother!" Xiao Wu shouted the last word with a cry. "Little guy. Don't worry. I guarantee you will see him again." Wang Feng patted Xiao on the shoulder and said with a smile, and then disappeared from Xiao's eyes in a flash. Xiao Wu opened his mouth wide and was about to speak, but found that someone had already chased Xiao Wen, so he had to swallow it back, wiped his eyes, turned around and ran away. Wang Feng quietly caught up with Xiaoan and found that his eyes were full of tears. He sighed secretly in his heart, but did not speak. He just followed Xiaoan silently. But he soon discovered that Xiaoan's speed was getting slower and slower. He was just an ordinary person after all, and he didn't know how far he had run. If this continued, he would probably fall down from exhaustion before reaching the camp. Wang Feng stepped forward and grabbed his arm, lifted him up, and then said, "I'll take you away, so fast, just give me the direction." Then Wang Feng took long strides and ran forward at lightning speed. This time, his speed suddenly more than doubled. Xiao Wen felt a whistling in his ears, and the trees on both sides of the road fell back quickly. He was overjoyed. The man looks very strong, maybe the camp can really be saved. With Wang Feng's full exertion, more than 20 minutes later, Wang Feng saw a camp surrounded by zombies. After just one glance, Wang Feng felt that the manager of this camp was not simple. He actually used many large vehicles to create a maze in front of the camp, so that when the zombies attacked the camp, they were all scattered and unable to take advantage of their numbers. He also used many sharpened wooden sticks nailed to the ground to hinder the zombies' progress. Wang Feng secretly cursed himself for being stupid. Why didn't he think of such a simple method? Wang Feng was determined to get to know the manager of the Green Island camp. Since he wanted to get to know him, he would first give him a meeting gift. Wang Feng looked at the zombies besieging the camp, and found no enhanced zombies, only about 500 wanderers. He couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. 10 wanderers were only 1 energy point, while 1 enhanced zombie was 10 energy points, equivalent to 1 to 100. Now Wang Feng didn't have much trouble killing enhanced zombies compared to wanderers, so he naturally hoped that there would be more enhanced zombies. Of course, not too many, less than 5 is the best. Wang Feng reached out and grabbed Xiao Wen, who was about to rush forward, and said to him with a smile, "Wait a minute, it's not too late to clean up the zombies before going in." As he said that, Wang Feng reached out and took off the longbow on his back, and handed the backpack on his chest to Xiao Wen, "Help me hold it." Then, Xiao Wen was stunned to witness Wang Feng's gorgeous performance. Wang Feng kept wandering around, looking for the best shooting angle. Because of the maze, the zombies were almost lined up in a row, just as targets for Wang Feng. Often, one arrow could penetrate the heads of 4 or 5 zombies at the same time. Although these zombies in front of him could be exchanged for energy points, Wang Feng did not plan to use Tiankai. At least he could not take away all the strengthening liquid on the zombies' heads, because Wang Feng did not want to leave after saving people. He already had the idea of setting up a camp, and Wang Feng had already had the intention to win over talents like the manager of this camp, so it was better not to reveal too many of his secrets. The reason why Wang Feng took a fancy to the manager of this camp was not simply because of the car array outside the camp, but because he had just activated the Sky Eye to see the situation inside the camp. There were about 100 people in the camp, and more than 20 adult men and women stood at the outermost periphery to constantly block the zombies that crossed the car array and approached the camp wall, while the rest of the people all formed a circle, and there were children in the middle of the circle. Having lived in the apocalypse for more than half a year, this was the first time that Wang Feng had seen such an orderly camp at a critical moment. Even when the camp where Wang Feng was before was attacked by a large group of zombies, the camp was in chaos, and many people were running around. They had already started looking for a way out before the zombies approached. So Wang Feng decided to save this camp and try to build good relations with them. Judging from their actions of protecting the children, these people were definitely not that bad. They were exactly the people that Wang Feng wanted to gather. Wang Feng used a bow and arrow to continuously clear the zombies in the maze. When the arrows were used up, he used his speed to rush into the maze, took back some arrows, and then continued to retreat and shoot from a distance. The people in the camp also found that reinforcements had come. Although there was only one person, his combat power was extremely strong. Immediately, the morale in the camp was greatly boosted, and the attacks became more frequent. Under the two-sided attack, more than 500 zombies were completely annihilated in less than an hour. After firing the last arrow to string the two zombies together, Wang Feng put the bow back on his back, shook his slightly numb arms, and smiled with satisfaction. The current Wang Feng is completely different from before the evolution. Before, he could not shoot so many arrows in a row in a battle. I am afraid that less than one-third of his arms would be useless. But now his arms are just a little numb. I believe it will recover soon. Seeing that all the zombies in the camp were killed, Xiao Wen cried with joy. He didn't care to thank Wang Feng and ran into the camp. Hey! My! Wang Feng pointed at Xiao Wen, wanting him to return the bag to him, but he put his hand down helplessly halfway through. This kid was too excited. I guess he couldn't hear what he said. Captain! Are you all okay? Xiao Wen said excitedly. Of course I'm fine. I have to thank the person you invited. What do you call him? A girl in her 20s walked over. Wang Feng was stunned. Captain! She? How, is she a woman? And so young? Oh! Captain! This big brother, hey! This big brother! Come over here. Xiao Wen just remembered Wang Feng and turned around to call him over. Wang Feng smiled bitterly and shook his head, then walked over slowly, took the bag Xiao Wen handed over and put it on his chest. Hello. My name is Wang Feng. End of the world wanderer, Wang Feng said with a smile. Brother Wang. This is our captain. Xiao Wen was about to introduce Wang Feng, but saw the girl walk up to Wang Feng, stretched out her right hand, and a voice like a silver bell rang. Hello. My name is Lu Wanting. Thank you for saving my camp. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 27. Wang Feng looked at the unexpected captain in front of him in amazement. He had two moon-like curved eyebrows on his delicate face, lying gently on his eyes that seemed to contain a pool of autumn water, with his tightly closed eyes. Above her small mouth is a small but straight nose. Her pretty face, which I originally thought was pitiful, now looks more heroic against the backdrop of her short ear-length hair. Coupled with her tall figure, the figure gives people a more energetic feeling. Your camp? Are you the leader of this camp? Wang Feng stretched out his hand and shook Lu Wanting's hand gently. What? Doesn't it look good? Lu Wanting smiled slightly. It really doesn't look like it. Wang Feng nodded affirmatively. Whether it is the layout of this camp or the calmness and orderliness of all of you when the zombies came, I feel that the creator of all this. Wang Feng's eyes drifted to his upper right, as if he was describing the image in his mind. Then he looked at Lu Wanting and said seriously, she should be at least 60 years old, with a face full of wrinkles, and a smile. Like a fox, that's what an old man is. Can I take your words as a compliment? Lu Wanting laughed, moved her body to the side, made a gesture of invitation, and then walked into the camp side by side with Wang Feng. Thank you so much just now, otherwise. Lu Wanting shook her head, looking a little sad. Nothing, just a little effort. I just met these two little guys on the road. Wang Feng was just halfway through speaking, when Lu Wanting suddenly turned around like a gust of wind. Xiao Wen, where is Xiao Wu? Because the crisis had just passed, Lu Wanting felt a little relaxed. In addition, she greeted Wang Feng, which made her ignore that there were two people who went out before, and only one came back. Team, Captain. I didn't know Brother Wang was so powerful. I was afraid of what might happen, so I asked Xiao Wu to go to the Black Wolf camp to ask for help, Xiao Wen said in a hushed tone. Oh. Okay. I know, Lu Wanting sighed and said, go ahead. Xiaoan agreed and turned around to leave. Wang Feng looked at Lu Wanting and said with a smile, it seems like your troubles are not just zombies, right? Lu Wanting turned to look at Wang Feng and said, are there any troublesome people in this world now? Looking at Lu Wanting's beautiful face, Wang Feng sighed. No matter what time of day, beauty is always one of the sources of trouble. That's right. Speaking of zombies. Lu Wanting looked at Wang Feng, with a trace of prayer in her eyes. I don't need it, Wang Feng smiled slightly. He understood that Lu Wanting was referring to the strengthening fluid in the zombies' brains. Thank you. Thank you very much. But I'm afraid I won't have the chance to repay you. It would be better if you leave now. To Wang Feng's surprise, Lu Wanting directly issued an eviction order after receiving Wang Feng's reply. Is it because of your trouble? Wang Feng somewhat understood what Lu Wanting meant. I don't like to bring trouble to other people. Lu Wanting avoided Wang Feng's gaze. Including people who can solve your troubles, Wang Feng continued to ask. You don't understand. He Lang is ferocious and cruel. Before the end of the world, he was a martial arts coach with very good kung fu. After the end of the world, he became an enhancer and became even more powerful. Although he is a second-level enhancer, ordinary second-level enhancers are not his. The opponent, even a third-level enhancer, died in their camp some time ago. Lu Wanting turned around and looked at Wang Feng and said, I know you may be a third-level enhancer, but after all, you are a long-range enhancer. There are many of them, Isn't long-range just right? With your camp and my long-range attack, do you think he can get in? Wang Feng was a little strange. But we can't stay in the camp forever. We have to go out to look for supplies. At that time, Lu Wanting looked a little sad. It doesn't matter, you can leave. I can solve this problem. What's the solution? Wang Feng couldn't bear it, but he still asked. Lu Wanting turned to look at the children in her camp. As long as they can survive in this apocalypse, they can use anything. You can arrange for people to deal with those zombies first. We will talk about the rest later. Wang Feng said, can I walk around in the camp? Since you won't leave, then feel free to do whatever you want. Lu Wanting looked at Wang Feng and shook her head, then turned around to arrange for people to deal with the zombies. The treatment of zombies is exactly the same in almost all camps. Take out the strengthening liquid, and then pile them together. Set fire to it. Wang Feng wandered around the camp casually, looking around. As a result, the more he looked, the more frightened he became. The buildings in the camp were very simple, a row of two-story dormitories and an independent two-story building. All buildings in the camp. Although it is not big, it is very neat. The messy scene in other camps does not exist here at all. What scares Wang Feng the most is their warehouse. The independent two-story building was their warehouse, with all kinds of sundries neatly placed inside. When Wang Feng walked up to the second floor, he was shocked to find that this was where they stored food. All kinds of food were divided into categories. Are placed on 4 rows of shelves, looking like a supermarket before the end of the world. This food is just left there? There's not even a guard. Wang Feng was a little stunned. In their Taikang camp, the food was guarded by someone, and no one else was allowed to enter. When it was time to eat, a special person would distribute the food. You got as much as you were given. If you didn't get any, You deserved it? Because food is the most scarce resource in this apocalypse, even more important than munitions. It can't be cultivated, there is no output, and a piece of moldy bread can even be exchanged for the body of a woman with a pretty good appearance. The first goal of the expedition team in each camp is to find the food left over from various places. Everyone knows that this is just a temporary solution. The remaining food before the apocalypse will always be consumed, but no one can do anything about it. And in this camp, Wang Feng actually found that the food was just casually placed here. Wang Feng nodded. He felt that Lu Wanting was simply a genius. In any case, such a person must not be let go. Besides, she is so beautiful, well. This is very important. After turning around and going downstairs, Wang Feng found that all the children and some weak women in the camp were queuing up to receive the strengthening liquid. He was shocked. It stands to reason that even if these children or women become strengtheners, they will definitely not be able to exert too much combat power. For the development of the camp, the protectors of the camp should be strengthened first, right? Wang Feng found Lu Wanting, who was directing the distribution of the strengthening liquid, and asked his own questions. Do you think it should be given to adults? But in this doomsday, the most difficult to survive are these children. Although it is a bit wasteful to give them the medicine, it can at least increase their chances of survival. These children are the hope for the continuation of mankind. Lu Wanting expressed her opinion. Wang Feng was shocked. Lu Wanting's approach coincided with Duan Lei's previous idea of taking in children and women. These were all things he had never thought of before. It seems that she and Duan Lei are thinking further than he thinks. He is just thinking about how he and the people around him can survive, while they have begun to consider the continuation of mankind. You all see farther than me, Wang Feng sighed. You guys, Lu Wanting tilted her head and looked at Wang Feng in confusion. She looked so cute with her slightly frowned brows. Yeah. My comrade before the end of the world, we were together after the end of the world. He once suggested that I take in more children and women, saying that they are the most likely to be eliminated and need protection, Wang Feng explained. Why is he not with you? Lu Wanting asked. Because of an accident, we were temporarily separated. I am going back to find them from this side. Wang Feng turned his head and looked in the direction of Wu village. I hope they are safe now. Why don't you go find them quickly? Your comrade is great, you must not let him get into trouble, Lu Wanting hurriedly said to Wang Feng. Wang Feng looked at Lu Wanting, and for some reason he felt a little jealous of Duan Lei. He shook his head and smiled. I said you two are similar. You said he is great. Can I understand that you are praising yourself in disguise? Puff, Lu Wanting couldn't help laughing. You can think so. Anyway, I think you should go. Your friends need you. You need me here too. Wang Feng looked at Lu Wanting seriously and said, as you said, people with this idea are great. Our team needs people like you, so I must get rid of this trouble of yours. Seeing that Lu Wanting was about to say something, Wang Feng stretched out his hand to block her mouth. For a moment, both of them were stunned. Wang Feng actually did this subconsciously and did not mean to take advantage. Lu Wanting stared at Wang Feng blankly for a long time, and then suddenly remembered something and took a step back, avoiding Wang Feng's hand, but the soft feeling still remained on Wang Feng's palm, lingering. Tell me about that black wolf? I don't need his abilities, I want to know what kind of person he is and what his daily behavior is like, Wang Feng said awkwardly. He didn't apologize for the previous incident because it would only make them more embarrassed. Well. Okay. But before that, tell me first, are you a level 3 enhancer? Lu Wanting's face turned red, but she stared at Wang Feng persistently, as if she would not tell him if he didn't tell her, which made Wang Feng stunned. Seeing Wang Feng's expression, Lu Wanting was a little angry and raised her long beautiful legs to step heavily on Wang Feng's feet. Hate. I'm asking you a question. Wang Feng came to his senses. Looking at Lu Wanting's frowning and pouting face and her almost coquettish tone, Wang Feng thought to himself, is this love? Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 28. At this moment, Wang Feng didn't know where the courage came from. He stretched out his hands and pressed them on Lu Wanting's shoulders. He looked into Lu Wanting's eyes and said, don't worry. That black wolf is definitely not my opponent. I'm not my opponent level 3 enhancer, I am an evolver. As long as I am here, I will never let anyone harm you or your camp. Lu Wanting felt panicked. She had felt a fever on her face because of her coquettish attitude just now. Now when she heard Wang Feng's almost confession, her mind went blank. She just stared at Wang Feng blankly. What's wrong with you? Wang Feng looked at her dazed look and thought it was so cute, so he shook her slightly and asked. No. Nothing. You just said, what evolver? What is an evolver? After Lu Wanting woke up, she was so embarrassed that she turned around to see her comrades in the camp secretly watching. Looking at them, he quickly shook his shoulders and broke away from Wang Feng's claws. Lu Wanting patted her turbulent chest with her hand to calm down her emotions, and then suddenly remembered what Wang Feng had just said, evolver? What is an evolver? Wang Feng immediately understood that they had not seen the evolvers yet. In fact, it was no wonder. Evolvers were very rare to begin with. Wang Feng had only seen one by chance in a large survival camp like his Taikang camp, let alone one. This is a small camp with less than 200 people. Evolvers, how should I put it? They should be new humans at a higher level than enhancers, right? If we compare them in terms of combat power, the black wolf you mentioned probably wouldn't be able to last a minute in front of me. Wang Feng said somewhat modestly. In fact, if he activated the blast and cooperated with Tiankai, the black wolf wouldn't be able to last even a second in front of him. Really? Lu Wanting stared at Wang Feng with her eyes wide open and her mouth half opened. I will never lie to you. Never. Wang Feng looked at Lu Wanting seriously and made a promise. Lu Wanting blushed, gave Wang Feng a blank look, and then said, then it will be up to you when the black wolf comes. Don't worry, Wang Feng nodded heavily. By the way, you haven't told me who that wolf is. Wang Feng suddenly remembered his previous question. Humph. He is not a human being, Lu Wanting gritted her teeth and said, that scumbag is greedy, lustful, and violent. A little girl who escaped from him told us that as long as he could see the women in his camp, anyone who catches his eye will be played with by him. It is said that the youngest one was only 7 years old. She was trapped in a building with her mother. After being rescued by their expedition team, the beast tortured and killed the little girl that day, and then cooked the little girl. He shared it with his men as food. Wang Feng's expression changed instantly when he heard this. His eyes were full of murderous intent, and he asked coldly, he eats people? Yeah, Lu Wanting nodded. When the little girl's mother saw it, the little girl had been cooked in a pot. Her mother went crazy on the spot and was caught and tied to a pillar. Then cut off a leg today, cut off an arm tomorrow, and divide it into 4 days to kill the little girl's mother. Okay. Needless to say anything else, Wang Feng held his hands tightly. This kind of person should not live in this world. He'd better come quickly, otherwise, I will take the initiative to find him. Xiao Wu went to find them. Is there any danger? Wang Feng suddenly remembered the boy who was kneeling in front of him and crying, and asked a little worriedly. No. Black Wolf has been plotting against me for a long time, Lu Wanting said with a blush on her face. This time because of the crisis in the camp, I ask Xiao Wu to tell him that as long as he comes to rescue my camp, I will agree to his previous request, and Xiao Wu will not be in danger before seeing me. Wang Feng opened his mouth but did not speak. He originally wanted to ask what the request was, but when he saw Lu Wanting's murderous eyes, he wisely remained silent. Can you tell me how you became an evolver? After a short silence, Lu Wanting found a new topic. Is it difficult to become an evolver? It was very difficult. Wang Feng thought of his battle with the black cat at that time. It can be said that it was a narrow escape. If I hadn't been lucky, I would have rotted by now. The process of becoming an evolver is similar to that of becoming an enhancer. It's just that it's impossible for people to evolve with the enhancement liquid of low-level zombies. I originally encountered a second-level biochemical beast, which was a black cat. The speed is quite fast, and at that time, I was only a second-level enhancer. Wang Feng slowly recalled the process of becoming an evolver, and told Lu Wanting selectively, because he promised not to deceive Lu Wanting, but he could not tell the existence of apocalypse, so he just vaguely told her that he was drinking. After drinking the evolutionary fluid extracted from the cat's brain, he became an evolver. This is not a lie, he did drink the evolutionary fluid extracted from the cat's brain and became an evolver, but the refining and synthesis work was completed by apocalypse. When Wang Feng talked about becoming an evolver, Lu Wanting was very fascinated. When Wang Feng said that she was scratched by a cat and eaten directly, Lu Wanting's eyes were red, and she patted Wang Feng's the arm seemed to relieve his pain. And when Wang Feng said that after he woke up after becoming an evolver, he found that he was holding a rotting dead cat and was so disgusted that he almost vomited out his intestines. Lu Wanting was laughing so hard that she couldn't contain her joy. After Wang Feng finished telling his story, the relationship between the two people had become much closer invisibly, but the two inexperienced brothers and sisters did not feel it themselves. After Wang Feng finished talking about his experience, Lu Wanting stuck out her tongue at Wang Feng and said with lingering fear, "It seems that it is not that easy to become an evolver." Hearing Lu Wanting's words, Wang Feng's heart moved and he asked Tiankai, "Apocalypse? Is that evolutionary fluid suitable for this person?" Wang Feng planned to simply give it to Lu Wanting if the evolutionary fluid was suitable for her. This is not only because of his deep admiration for her, but also because Lu Wanting is indeed a rare talent in this apocalyptic world. It may be possible to kill Wang Feng. Let him turn a camp into Lu Wanting's camp. That would be killing. He can't do it either. Not suitable. Apocalypse's answer made Wang Feng very hurt, but there was nothing he could do about it. Apocalypse would not lie. If it said it was not suitable, then it was definitely not suitable. It seems that we have to wait until next time. The only disadvantage of Apocalypse now is that the synthetic evolutionary fluid is completely random and may not be suitable for any person. Although it can be successfully evolved if it is used by someone who is not suitable for it, the superpowers attached to the evolution may be limited. It's going to be a big discount. If there were no apocalypse, Wang Feng would definitely evolve as he could, and he would still be able to be picky. But now with apocalypse, and the fact that he got 3 evolution fluids in a row like shit, he can't even use it for others. He also has to match his attributes before he is willing to give up. Seeing that Wang Feng was silent there, Lu Wanting couldn't help but feel a little strange. She bumped him with her elbow and said, "Hey. What's wrong with you?" "Ah. It's okay. I was thinking about something." Wang Feng finally came back to his senses. "Wait a minute. I'll give you something." Wang Feng took his backpack, pretended to rummage around in it, and said to Tiankai in his heart, "Apocalypse, synthesize 5 bottles of strengthening liquid." After a while, Wang Feng took his hand out of the bag. Of course, he had 5 more vials in his hand. He handed the vials to Lu Wanting. "Take it. But don't ask me where I got it. I can't tell you yet. Is that okay?" Lu Wanting took the strengthening liquid and looked at it doubtfully. "What is this?" Wang Feng looked at the side where the strengthening liquid was distributed and found that it was already over. From the expressions of everyone, it seemed that no one had succeeded in strengthening this time. "It's similar to what you just distributed, but if you drink this, it will basically be able to be strengthened successfully and become a strengthener." Wang Feng's understatement sounded like a thunderous drum in Lu Wanting's ears. It shocked her so much that she almost let go and dropped the vial. She was so frightened that she quickly tightened her grip and breathed a sigh of relief. You just said, as long as you drink this, it can basically be strengthened successfully, Lu Wanting asked cautiously. That's right. This is refined and extracted using the strengthening liquid in the brains of many zombies. At least I haven't found any cases of failure. Oh. That's right. 1 bottle per person is enough. More is useless, Wang Feng explained carefully. For a moment. He is right. Each enhancement solution is synthesized after extracting the enhancement solution from about 10 zombies. 10 should mean the same thing as many, right? Wang Feng thought in his heart. For me, Lu Wanting confirmed again. Do you think I can use this? Wang Feng said with a smile. Okay. Just stop asking, and don't be polite to me. We might be a family in the future, so hurry up and pick 5 people to try. Wang Feng meant that he would ask Lu Wanting to manage the camp he built in the future. Wang Feng even thought that he could directly use Lu Wanting as a team member to expand the camp infinitely, and finally develop it into the human survival base he envisioned. In this way, aren't we all a family? Lu Wanting didn't know where she was thinking. Her face turned red and she turned away. Lu Wanting carefully brought 5 bottles of strengthening liquid to their group and told them about the functions of this strengthening liquid. Everyone was skeptical when they heard that there was such a magical strengthening liquid. Although Wang Feng saved them, this strengthening liquid was so unbelievable that they could not believe it. I believe him, but I'm already a first-level enhancer. This doesn't work for me. Which of you is willing to give it a try first? I won't force you. Come to me if you want, Lu Wanting said. She believed Wang Feng, because he had an intuition that Wang Feng would not lie to her. As soon as she finished speaking, a person jumped out. I'll do it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 29. The person who took the initiative to jump out was naturally Xiaoan, who brought Wang Feng here. He came to Lu Wanting and said, Captain. I believe in Brother Wang. I am willing to try. Lu Wanting put a bottle of strengthening liquid in Xiaoan's hand. Xiaoan looked at the strengthening liquid, then looked at Wang Feng, who was walking over, and asked, Brother Wang. Can I just drink it directly? You'd better find a comfortable place to lie down, because it may last for a short while, and the process may not be very pleasant, Wang Feng said. Also, just call me Brother Feng, don't always call me Brother Wang. Brother Wang, others will think I'm making up the word count. Oh. Okay, Xiaoan agreed and wanted to go back to his room to use the strengthening liquid. Xiaowen, wait. Lu Wanting stopped Xiaowen, turned to the 2 strong men and said, Go and bring out a bed. Let Xiaowen use it here, so that everyone can verify it. Captain. No need. I believe you, and I believe this person. One of the 2 strong men said awkwardly. After seeing Wang Feng, he remembered Wang Feng's amazing performance outside before. If he had bad intentions, why would he go to such lengths? It probably wouldn't take too much time to kill them all. No. Iron Man. The rules of our camp cannot be broken. If everyone has doubts, they must verify them publicly. No one can act on emotion. Go, Lu Wanting said resolutely. It's good here too. Because I didn't become an enhancer using this, so I haven't seen the process of using this enhancement liquid to enhance it with my own eyes. I just heard about it from others, and today I can just take a look, Wang Feng said with a smile. As for the person he heard about, it was naturally Tiankai. The 2 men heard Wang Feng say so and stopped insisting. They ran into a room and brought out a bed and placed it in front of Lu Wanting. Xiao Wen glanced at Lu Wanting, who nodded to him, so Xiao Wen lay directly on the bed, opened the vial in his hand, and poured the liquid in the vial into his mouth without thinking, then closed his eyes and lay on the bed. Wang Feng laughed in his heart. How come this kid drank the strengthening liquid like a sleeping pill? Not long after drinking the liquid, Xiao Wen's body began to spasm and sweat all over his body. The people around him couldn't help but whisper to each other, only Lu Wanting remained calm and just stood there quietly waiting. Wang Feng didn't know what the reaction would be after drinking this strengthening liquid, but he believed that Tiankai's words would definitely not be wrong, so he stood there quietly as steady as a mountain. After a while, Xiao Wen's reaction became more and more intense, and his body began to shake violently. The whole person was like he had just been pulled out of the water, his whole body was soaked in sweat, and he began to roar in pain. Lu Wanting was a little uneasy now. She secretly looked at Wang Feng. Seeing that Wang Feng's expression did not change, she calmed down and watched the situation. Fortunately, Xiaowen's reaction did not become more intense, but gradually calmed down. After about half an hour, he finally fell into a deep sleep. After Wang Feng secretly asked Tiankai, he stepped forward, looked down at Xiaowen, and then raised his head and smiled at Lu Wanting. Okay. It's successful. He will wake up in about 10 minutes. By then, he will be a first-level enhancer. Don't blame me for not reminding you. When he fully masters his power, you may not be his opponent. Lu Wanting looked at Wang Feng with a complicated expression. The man who smiled at her first seemed to be a god in her most critical moment, and in just a few minutes, he saved her camp from danger. Now he gave me these 5 strengthening liquids. After countless strengthening failures, everyone in the camp knew the value of these 5 strengthening liquids. Let's not talk about anything else. Today, more than 300 zombies didn't create a strengthener. And this man threw 5 small bottles to me, and my camp will soon have 5 more strengtheners. You know, they have experienced half a year of apocalypse, and I don't know how many zombies they have killed. Now there are only 3 first-level strengtheners in the whole camp. Is he sent by God to save me? Lu Wanting thought so in her heart. At this time, the whole camp was boiling. Everyone knew that there was more than 1 bottle of strengthening liquid, which meant that there would be a few more strengtheners in their camp soon. All the people in the camp, except for the sentries, had gathered here, and all the eyes were fixed on the 4 small medicine bottles in Lu Wanting's hand. Wang Feng looked at these people, and he suddenly felt that for this end of the world, this might be the only pure land in the world that has not been polluted by this world without a future, because in those eyes, Wang Feng did not see a trace of greed and possession. Their eyes were full of expectation, excitement, gratitude, and hope. From their eyes, Wang Feng could see that these people were not thinking about whether they could get one of the bottles, but that after using these 4 bottles of strengthening liquid, their camp would be safer, their future would be more promising, and those children should be able to grow up smoothly and continue human civilization, right? Wang Feng looked at these ragged people who were full of hope for life, and looked at these people who looked at him with kindness and gratitude. He suddenly wanted to cry, so he turned his back and left silently. He walked alone to a remote corner, put his hands on the wall, lowered his head, and let the tears fall silently. At this moment, he felt for the first time that this apocalypse that he had cursed countless times might still be possible. There is a quiet harbor where he can take shelter from the wind. A pair of arms went around his back and hugged him gently. He knew who she was, but he didn't speak or make any movement. The two of them just quietly, enjoyed this apocalypse. Rare tranquility and peace. After an unknown amount of time, Lu Wanting broke the silence. Thank you. She did not move, she still hugged Wang Feng from behind and put her head on his back, where she could hear his strong heartbeat. Maybe I should be the one thanking you. You allowed me to find a better goal than survival. Wang Feng slowly turned around and looked at Lu Wanting. Lu Wanting let go of Wang Feng and looked up at him, her eyes full of tears. You must have been very tired in the past. So many people asked you to be a girl to support you. Wang Feng gently wiped away her tears with his hand. Lu Wanting suddenly hugged Wang Feng again. Since the end of the world, a few comrades and I have brought these children and parents here. Except for poetry, everyone else can only fight and kill. Camp only Xiu and I are responsible for the management. But Xiu is not a strengthener. I was bitten again just now. Without her, I don't know how long I can hold on. Moreover, when the Black Wolf comes, I will still follow him. This camp is without me. I really can't guess how long Menjiao can last. Just when I felt desperate, you fell from the sky, and all the troubles except poetry disappeared with your appearance. And you also brought us 5 strengtheners, which gave me a new understanding of the world. Hope. Lu Wanting raised her head and looked at Wang Feng. Not only did you save me, you also saved this camp. Where was that poem bitten? Are you still in the camp? He gently patted Lu Wanting's back and asked. Yes. She passed out. I asked someone to help her lie down in the room. Lu Wanting looked at Wang Feng, and a glimmer of hope suddenly appeared in her eyes. Let's go. I'll take you there. As she said this, Lu Wanting took Wang Feng's hand and turned around to walk towards the dormitory building, but before they entered, a girl about the same age as Lu Wanting appeared at the door of the dormitory. Her face was pale, and she was covering her right arm with her left hand. He was wounded and walked out slowly. Xiu. Why did you come out? Lu Wanting quickly let go of Wang Feng's hand and ran forward, holding her with both hands. Go back and lie down and have a good rest. Okay Ting Ting, it's not like I don't know the consequences of being bitten. The girl shook her head slightly, then looked at Wang Feng, looked at it carefully and nodded with satisfaction. Yeah. He looks pretty good. Handsome. It's a pity that I don't have a chance, otherwise I can compete with Ting Ting. He looked back at Lu Wanting. It seems that you have found the right one. Congratulations. Congratulations. Alas. But I can't eat your wedding candy, I have to go. Where are you going? I can go anywhere, as long as there's no one around. Why are you leaving? Hey. Ting Ting. Don't tell me you don't know what I will become. That would damage my image too much, so I won't wait until then. The girl looked at Lu Wanting seriously. I don't miss you either. See what I looked like when I died. Let me go. Okay, Ting Ting. Lu Wanting turned to look at Wang Feng. She knew in her heart that no one could save her after being bitten, but she still had a glimmer of hope for Wang Feng. Wang Feng nodded to Lu Wanting and looked at the girl walking towards him. The girl has a baby face, the same short ear-length hair, and a pair of big eyes on her oval-shaped face. She is looking at him curiously. Hey. From now on, Ting Ting will be taken care of by you. No. Bully her. Otherwise I can't help it, the girl said with some frustration. Maybe I have a way. Wang Feng looked at the girl and said. Ah, the girl was startled. Maybe you can do something about it. After hearing Wang Feng's words, Lu Wanting immediately ran over and looked at Wang Feng nervously. Do you really have a way? Wang Feng nodded, and then said to the girl, wait a moment, little beauty. I'll say a few words to Ting Ting. Then he pulled Ting Ting into the dormitory building. Where are you smaller? The girl looked down at her breasts. They are obviously similar to Ting Ting's. Woman. Even if you know that your life is not long, you still have to worry about what you should care about. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 30. After entering the dormitory, Wang Feng turned around to face Lu Wanting, looked into her eyes and asked, Ting Ting. Tell me, do you believe that girl outside? Of course I believe it. What's wrong? If you can save her, you must save her. We were good friends before the end of the world and grew up together, Lu Wanting said anxiously. Wang Feng took out the evolutionary fluid he got after killing the big bird and held it in front of Lu Wanting. This can save her life. Enhancing fluid, Lu Wanting was a little confused. She still had 4 bottles of this. No. This is evolution fluid, Wang Feng cursed in his heart at this time. The strengthening fluid and evolution fluid synthesized by Tiankai are exactly the same color. Even the bottles are the same. If it weren't for Tiankai, even he wouldn't be able to tell them apart. Which bottle is which bottle? Evolutionary fluid. Ah. That's it? Lu Wanting opened her mouth wide. Yes. It's a potion that can make people evolve. That's why I asked you if she can believe it, because this is very precious, Wang Feng said, and then explained. Because the evolution fluid is different from the strengthening fluid, it will only achieve the best effect when it matches the user's attributes. Because you are not suitable for this, I didn't give it to you before, but it just fits. Of course I can believe it. Lu Wanting didn't have any thoughts because Wang Feng didn't give her the evolutionary fluid before. Instead, she asked cautiously, but, is this, very precious? She regretted it as soon as she asked the question. Do you still need to ask? Looking at Lu Wanting's cute expression, Wang Feng smiled softly, took her right hand, and stuffed the evolution fluid into her hand. The usage is the same as the strengthening fluid, but the evolution process is very long, at least a week. Then, he kissed her smooth forehead, turned around and walked out of the dormitory building. When passing by the girl named Menjiao, Wang Feng said with a smile, "Little beauty. Let's see you next week." It's a little beauty again. Huh, looking at Wang Feng's back, the girl muttered bitterly, but then she looked sad. Oh. No chance to fight. Just when the girl lowered her head and muttered, Lu Wanting rushed over like a gust of wind, picked her up and ran into the dormitory building. Hey! Ting Ting! What are you doing? Let me go. Let me out, the girl kept struggling. Ting Ting, listen to me. Dream whisper. I can cure you, Lu Wanting interrupted her, but hurry. Don't talk nonsense. Come with me quickly, she continued to pull her into the dormitory building. Wang Feng looked back, smiled slightly, and then walked towards the survivors in the camp. At this time, the survivors of the entire camp gathered around the entrance of the camp, forming a large circle. Xiaoan, who had used the strengthening fluid, had woken up and was competing with the strong man named Tai Han. Wang Feng's curiosity aroused, and he also wanted to see how the strengthening liquid produced by Tiankai worked. Seeing Wang Feng's arrival, the people in the camp nodded to him one after another. Everyone's smile contained gratitude, and the children all looked at him with admiration. At this moment, Wang Feng felt that he had never been so beautiful in his life, especially the eyes of those children. He was about to say something, but Xiaoan saw his arrival and rushed over immediately. Brother Feng. I, Chen Shaoan, will own your life from now on, no matter what you ask me to do. Wang Feng smiled, really? Real? Then what if I ask you to leave this camp and follow me? Huh? This? Ha 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 ha, Wang Feng laughed. Then he patted Chen Shaoan on the shoulder. Xiaoan. Remember. Don't make promises easily in the future. Especially promises that you can't fulfill. Because a man's promises must be fulfilled. Brother Wang is right, the strong man named Tai Han walked over. He was about 30 years old, with short hair, a Chinese character face, regular facial features, and a very majestic look. Hello. Brother Wang. My name is Zhao Taihan. I'm sorry about what happened before. Zhao Taihan stretched out his hand and looked at Wang Feng with an apologetic look. One sentence made Wang Feng have a good impression of Zhao Taihan. One is one, the other is two, he is not hiding anything, he is a forthright man. Just call me crazy. All my friends call me that. Wang Feng held Zhao Taihan's hand, and suddenly his heart moved. Taizu's surname is also Zhao, could it be Brother Zhao? Do you know Zhao Taizu? Wang Feng asked. Zhao Taizu? My name is very close, but I don't know him. Your friend, Zhao Taihan was stunned for a moment, then shook his head. Yeah. One of my brothers. I thought your names were so similar, so I thought they were brothers, Wang Feng said with a smile. Haha. No problem. Since he is your Wang, madman's brother, he will be my brother from now on, Zhao Taihan said boldly. Madman. Thank you, if it weren't for you, our camp would be in danger this time. Afterwards, Zhao Taihan gritted his teeth and cursed, what a stupid black wolf. If we don't come here at this time, we will be dead if we really wait for him to come to the rescue. Old Tai, you really dare to think about it? At that time, I said there was no need to go at all. How could that bastard come to save us? Even if he came, he would just watch the fun and wait until we are almost dead before he comes to take advantage. Another man who went to lift the bed with Lu Taihan came over and stretched out his hand to Wang Feng. I'll call you crazy too. My name is Chen Tianhao. I really want to thank you today, and you will be our camp from now on. Best friend. That's wrong. From now on, he will be a member of our camp and one of our own. Am I right? Madman. Before Wang Feng held Chen Tianhao's hand and could speak, Lu Wanting's voice sounded from behind him. Wang Feng smiled at Chen Tianhao, then let go of his hand, and turned around to see Lu Wanting standing next to him with a smile, looking at him. That's right. One of our own. Wang Feng looked at Lu Wanting and smiled, then turned around and looked at Zhao Taihan and Chen Tianhao and smiled, are you welcome? Before the two of them spoke, Chen Shaoan jumped up and said, welcome. Why don't you welcome us? Zhao Taihan and Chen Tianhao looked at each other and smiled, and were about to speak when they noticed that Wang Feng's face suddenly changed. He was instantly furious, with a strong murderous intent in his eyes. He quickly took off the backpack on his chest and handed it to Xiaoan, turned to Lu Wanting and said, let Xiaoan guard the camp, and you bring some people to chase me. Then, Wang Feng flashed and flew away in the direction he came from. Everyone looked at each other in shock at this sudden turn of events. Only Lu Wanting roughly guessed the reason, it should be Black Wolf. She didn't hesitate for a moment, and immediately ran towards the camp gate, shouting at the same time, Xiao Wen, take one group to stay in the camp to protect everyone, the second and third groups follow me. Although everyone didn't know what was going on, everyone started to move after Lu Wanting's order. A dozen people followed Zhao Taihan and Chen Tianhao and ran outside. Xiaoan followed a few people and ran to the gate of the camp, watching them all. After leaving, close the camp gate. Green Island Camp has a maze of vehicles around the camp, so the vehicles they use to travel are parked outside the maze. Although it is a bit troublesome to move things in this way, it is the only way to be safe. Wang Feng had already activated the blast at this time. He wanted to buy time to save Xiao Wu as soon as possible. This young man who once knelt in front of him and cried and begged him to save his camp was now experiencing tremendous pain. A convoy of 4 vehicles was heading to the Green Island camp. An open-top military jeep at the front had an iron rod erected on it. Xiao Wu was naked and tied to the iron rod. Everyone in the car except the driver. There were 2 other people, one on the left and one on the right, sitting in the back seat. There was a small barbecue grill in front of the 2 people, and the charcoal fire inside was burning brightly. As the car ran, 1 or 2 sparks would burst out from time to time and flow to the rear. In the middle of the 2 people was Xiao Wu, who was tied up. They each held a sharp knife in their hands. From time to time, they cut a piece of meat from Xiao Wu and put it on the fire to grill. After roasting for a while, they put it in their mouths. Chewing, holding a bottle of wine in the other hand, eating the wine and the meat with great pleasure. When Wang Feng was at the camp just now, he saw the dust brought up by the speed of the car. Out of curiosity, he activated his celestial eye to take a look, so he saw the scene that made him stunned and furious. Wang Feng waited until Gale's time was over and then stopped. The moment he stopped, a sniper rifle appeared in his hand. At this time, he was about 3 kilometers away from the convoy. His sky eye could currently detect 5 scenery within a kilometer can be seen clearly. But his bow couldn't hit such a far target, so Wang Feng chose a heavy sniper rifle. He held the gun flat and aimed at the strong man with the rough face on the left. Although he didn't know the Black Wolf, he knew from both sides from the look on the person's face, he judged that the one on the left was the cannibal demon Lu Wanting mentioned. Bang, the huge gunshot echoed in the empty land. The 2 strong men were stunned at the same time, and the one on the left tilted his head like a conditioned reflex. With a shrill scream, the strong man's right ear disappeared out of thin air, and blood flowed out. The convoy that was attacked immediately stopped, and the people in the car quickly jumped out and hid behind the car. Wang Feng put down his gun and sighed. He actually missed. Before the end of the world, he had never missed a sniper shot at this distance. He didn't expect that this would be the first time after the end of the world. It seems that strengthening people's intuition of danger is far more than ordinary people. The bullet grazed the strong man's right ear, and the huge kinetic energy turned the strong man's right ear into powder. The strong man tore off a piece of clothing, blocked the bleeding wound, and shouted, "Aim for me. The guy in the car, if there's any gunfire, shoot him first." Although Wang Feng couldn't hear what he said, he could clearly see the movements of these people, so he put the huge sniper rifle on his shoulders and walked towards the convoy.